Hello, everybody. I hope you are having a beautiful day. It is November, and we are now ready for the November energy update. And I know that it didn't come early this month, but it's here now. And so I'm going to go in. I usually don't know what's coming through. I have a sense of it because I've been dealing with these energies and receiving guidance almost daily. And so now what I'm intending to do is surrender this over to the divine. I'm going to take a moment, take my breaths, tune in, tune up, and align with that guidance, and then share it with you in real time, and then we'll unpack it. We are so pleased to be with you today, and it is an imperative for you to understand that you are now going through a multidimensional acceleration amplification of your light body. This means that you are here now at a time on Earth where both the uplift of energy and the downloads of energy are amplified and accelerated. So you will feel as though time itself may be moving swiftly, and or your own capacity to understand, to experience epiphanies, breakthroughs, and gain insights about your own life is manifesting with great facility. This is because the quickening is happening on the earth plane in such a way that those of you who are oriented, open to, and non-resistant to the light waves that are coming through, that are aligned with and serving the ascension process of humanity and Earth herself, these energies are amplifying your ability to know, to see, to hear, to experience reality as a multidimensional being, so that you are no longer, or in fact, less and less aligned with the habit mind and or habit body. This acceleration is happening on a multidimensional level. So it's cleansing and purifying your energy field. And that is all the layers of your energy field: your mind, your emotions, your physical body, and your spiritual being are all being purified, and or another way to say this would be up leveled, so that they're more finely attuned to the divine nature that is you and source, which are one and the same. And this understanding is happening for people who are already in the ascension process. They are aware, so they are experiencing an exaggeration of the shadow as well as an amplification of the light within. And so, what this means is that you may encounter old patterns of thought, of feeling states, or in your body, in your habits or beliefs that you've held on to a very long time, that are now coming to resurface. You may even feel a revisiting of them, a re-experiencing of them in relationships, in certain circumstances, or in the bigger earth world. As you're doing that, it's the way that you meet that energy that determines whether it continues to seed within you and seed a trajectory that affiliates with 3D and or opens you to a higher timeline and thus a higher dimensional expression of yourself. As you learn to embody the compassionate witness and drop into the empathy and curiosity, witnessing these habit beliefs and thoughts without judging why they are showing up or where they're coming from, but instead remaining curious to, oh, how and what is this doing in my energy field? And how is it shaping the reality that I've experienced? You can see how these thoughts then created the realities that you have thought were either inevitable or fated, part of your destiny, and or just a soul life lesson. You're going to now understand that these energies are coming up because most of them are not seated in any truth that can be sustained as you move yourself from 3D into fourth dimensional awareness and embody your 5D nature. So these beliefs, these energies, these patterns are coming up all over the place within your own energy field, within the energy fields of people around you, which can create then sort of a disconnect or discord between you and others, where you may have once been resonant. You may find yourself falling out of resonance with people and or places and or experiences that were once really resonant for you and no longer are. And there may not be an obvious explanation. Sometimes there will be. Sometimes you will feel like, oh, we're really seeing things differently. But really, it's because the resonance, the frequency in your own energy field is expanding. This does not mean that people have to fall away or that you no longer interact with them. There may be those choices that are being made even for you, sort of subtly, or it may be bringing up in you that there is an opportunity to experience divergent energies from a very different consciousness than you ever have in the past, so that they're not necessarily adversarial and they're not something you necessarily have to agree with, but you're not at war with either. And so this is a shift in awareness. This is the up leveling, because we are part of this shift into a crystalline life form. And without going too detailed into that, though I am more than willing to answer those questions as they arise, what that means is that your energy field is capable of being in multiple places at once or everywhere all at once and do everything all at once. This is becoming more and more aware that past lives are parallel lives, that future lives are parallel lives, and that you have everything you need. All the resources necessary to navigate life are available within you, particularly as this amplification is occurring. So this amplification and acceleration are coexisting. They are expanding our awareness, expanding your heart's capacity for love, for empathy, for compassion, for even patience or equanimity. Your mind is expanding, your mental body is expanding to move beyond agreement with the 3D paradigms and to dismantle all the structures of your mental and emotional body that support those 3D paradigms, which is why they're breaking down, and challenge them and may not look like what you want them to be yet, but they have to come down first. It's sort of like taking down a house before you build the new one. Even if you have a map, map may change as you continue building, right, while you're in the process. So this amplification acceleration is doing this for all of us individually, within family systems, within larger systems, community systems, and then on a global scale, and for the earth. So this is a lot happening at one time. You may suddenly notice intense emotional impact from these accelerations. So what does that mean? You may feel agitated, you may feel uneasy, you may feel like you're supposed to be doing something or somewhere, but you're not quite sure what it is yet. You just know that what you've been doing can no longer be sustained. Right. And so by honoring that without judging it or trying to fix it or figure it out, that energy, then you remove the resistance to that energy so that river can flow through you to bring you where you're meant to go. Your mind wants to figure it out first, but spirit doesn't want to figure it out. It's leading you down that path. So it's opening you to the awareness that you are multidimensional. You don't have to fix or control life, that you're meant to follow the energy of spirit as it's moving through this acceleration. So this is going to open your mind and make you question your reality, yourself, things you've constantly believed in, continually believed in, or not even aware that you believed in. And it's going to show up in all kinds of ways so that it can be dismantled when they're not aligned with truth and open you to carrying more expansive consciousness, ideas, beliefs that are not bound to 3D, but that are seeded from divine truth. So then creation becomes more fluid, harmonious, beautiful, and balanced. And so this is happening for each and every one of us. What's also happening at the same time is that the energy field is being amplified with this crystalline energy. So your DNA, your physical body is changing, which means your sleep patterns may be interrupted. You may need to eat differently, and even from week to week, and sometimes from day to day. You may need to move differently than you have in the past. You may need to consume different foods and beverages, and you may need new spiritual practices or to really engage in the spiritual practices that you may sometimes dabble in. Dabbling will no longer work. You now need to commit to some kind of spiritual practice that brings your nervous system into homeostasis, that opens the heart chakra to the inspired heart system, so that you then have access to higher awareness about who you are, what your soul is wanting to express and allow, and also have awareness around where there's resistances, contraction, where there may be a pushback. So many of you, many of us may also experience physical symptoms where there's some kind of disease or there's some kind of disharmony in the body. And we often think it means we're doing something wrong. And this is an untruth. So, Spirit is really wanting you to know that this way of evaluating the physical form is an untruth, that it's information about what it means to live in an adapted state, a state that is not attuned to the soul, and to understand that the body adjusts to that adaptation, and that often when the adaptation occurs, it can create some kind of imbalance in the mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical body. And so physical ailments are a reflection of where we've held on to energy or we've adapted. This is a miraculous thing. This is an important thing to understand and not judge in your body or shame yourself that you didn't get it right or that this is here now. And how you meet what is showing up will determine whether it moves through you in a way that can inform you, enlighten you, uplift you, or you resist it and then are at war with it, wanting it to go away. And so the body is going to work very diligently to communicate to you what it has always needed and what it needs now in order for you to thrive and for it to do what it needs to do within a calm nervous system. So your body cannot function optimally when the energy field is not at homeostasis, or what my guides refer to as the inspired heart coherency. Another way to say that is we would call it nervous system regulation. And so the only reason I don't particularly like that term is because there's a shaming concept which goes with anything that's presented in that way. There's some pathologizing that happens when we call ourselves dysregulated. All human beings are dysregulated because 3D is a dysregulating energy, and you have had to adapt to a dysregulated toxic system for your entire lifetime. You are not dysregulated in the way that you've done something wrong. You've adapted to 3D. All of us have, with our beliefs, with our emotions, with the way we act in the world, and even with our perception of ourselves as multisensory. Look how dysregulated, how dysfunctional it is that we call it woo-woo. It's out there, it's unusual because it hasn't yet landed in the scientific body of the mental body of 3D. And when something doesn't land in the 3D mental body or in what is considered acceptable, it's usually considered unsafe, scary, or it's minimized and joked about as woo-woo. And that's exactly what's happened to the multidimensional reality of who you are. And what's now breaking down is that illusion. So your body, your mind, your emotions, your spirit has adapted to this very well. Congratulate yourself, love yourself, bring compassion to yourself, for this is an important ability to have done. And now you're not trying to chastise yourself for that adaptation. You're now discovering that you no longer need to live in that adaptation. of your 3D mind in order to survive. And in fact, in order to thrive this particular earth dimension in it, you need to now open yourself to that which is higher, which is called inspired heart coherency. And the inspired consciousness or inspired heart coherency, what it does is it attunes you to your soul's higher frequency, which is the truth of who you are, the essence of who you are, beyond any programming, beyond any formation of belief. And it includes and holds the soul that has those beliefs. It doesn't alienate from it. It holds it and it loves it and it witnesses that soul and it sees and understands it from a much higher frequency that has compassion so that all that energy can be understood, alchemized where needed, and integrated into meaning and possibly medicine that serves your highest good. We have a tendency to have an experience, let's say a symptom in a relationship and in the body, and then we want to stop the symptom if it doesn't feel good. Of course, that's natural. That's a human response, but it's not a multidimensional response. So the multidimensional being is going to look with curiosity about what's happening that's creating that discomfort and what needs to be addressed, not from judgment that it's wrong, but oh, this is information. I've contracted here. I've adapted here, and this is how. And now my system is willing and open to learn a new way. And are you willing and open to practice rewiring your nervous system in such a way that you're not trying to fix what's broken? You're understanding that you have never been broken, that you have adapted, and now you have the capacity to move beyond adaptation into some level of mastery and skill around your own energy field. So this amplification, acceleration, this crystalline energy is all surfacing so that we can become the beautiful spirit embodies that we are meant to be. You are also going to notice that through this acceleration, manifestation can happen very swiftly, that sometimes you'll think something and it will manifest very, very quickly. So this isn't a call to become suddenly aware of all my thoughts, oh my God, but really aware. We're no longer living in the timeline of the law of attraction, which is really a 3D understanding or grasping to what universal laws attune to and allow you to resonate with, so that everything and anything that you want to experience, you are no longer manifesting it from lack, from 3D consciousness, which tells you this isn't here, I can't have this, I don't know how to get this, this is separate from me, but that this is actually you being shown to you as a dream, as an inspiration, as a need, as a want, and or in another person or experience, because it is you and your energy field, because of its adaptation, hasn't been able to have resonance with it yet, but it's seeking to allow that vibrational expression to come into your thoughts, into your feelings, your emotions, into your body so that you actually feel the power of that truth, into the way you speak, into the way you act daily. And so there can be no wavering on this. You will waver as you adjust. So let's be clear when I say no wavering, it's like saying, I'm running a 4-minute mile. That's my intention. And then day one, because you didn't run the 4-minute mile, thinking this is too hard, I can't manifest that. When in fact, you may need to run a 5 or 6 minute mile and get your body used to running at the pace that it requires for the 4-minute mile. But as soon as you set the intention that you are running the 4-minute mile, your energy system is now going to organize itself to create that reality for you so that you become resonant with it. And now your thinking, your speaking, your actions all have to align with being a 4-minute mile runner. And so if I want to be in a loving relationship, but I am not doing anything different in my relationships or in my life or in my habits or my patterns, guess what? I'm still resonant with the lack of that loving relationship. And that's what I'm creating. And not because of the law of attraction, but because the law of resonance is speaking to you as a multidimensional being, that this isn't fully being expressed in your energy field. And it's not here to punish you or keep you separate from it. It's showing you where you've adapted to survive in 3D by contracting that energy in some manner, by withholding it from yourself in some way, so that your energy field can now open to it and discover how to express it. And this is going to bring some uncomfortable feelings, some uncomfortable thoughts to the surface. But if you remain in the compassionate witness as you process that, you can move through it very swiftly and actually manifest experiences far more quickly than you ever have in your history, because your capacity to adapt to that higher level multidimensional expression has been amplified and is accelerated and supported by these energies. Now, there may be processes through which you go, and you may be feeling like you are moving through things very quickly, very intensely at this phase of your life. Some of you are not feeling that, but those of you who are, breathe, calm your body, really learn to practice witnessing, really become interested, curious, devoted to seeing what your awareness, your mental and emotional body are living, creating, believing in, giving energy to. Remember, consciousness brings energy into form. Your consciousness, the meaning you give what you see, creates your form, right? So you will have experiences that match that consciousness until you adapt that consciousness to a more expansive ability to hold space. Be kind to yourself if your body has adapted to 3D and it can't quite get there. It doesn't mean it won't. It may need some processing or practice or daily practice. Many of you may know that I've told the story about my own shamanic teacher, the shaman with whom I apprenticed for many years, who had a debilitating autoimmune system disorder so bad that she was in a wheelchair. And her practice was to go into shamanic journey every single day for healing, specifically to envision and embody herself as a runner, as someone who was physically fit and capable of living her life independently. And she is now a triathlete. So this is someone who is wheelchair bound in excruciating physical pain, who now is someone who is a triathlete and continues to do this by working with her energy, but also has days where her energy system just cannot function at that high level and does not ever judge it, does not see that as defeat, just simply says, okay, there's 3 weeks, 3 days of the week that I got all the power I want. And those other days of the week, I'm resting, I'm rejuvenating, I'm self-caring, I'm doing the things that I need to do for myself. That doesn't have to look like your process. That could be even an evolving process for her. But your process is one that you want to care for, nurture, and be part of. You cannot do this part-time and have the kind of results that you want to experience in the bigger plane. We often think that manifesting is bringing things to us when it really is allowing the resonance of what we want by becoming it, by being it, by embodying it. And that's going to challenge us because typically the things that we want from 3D, we see by going into density and experiencing from a place of lack. So what's going to happen now for individuals is this amplification of your energy, the uplifting, acceleration, quickening of your capacity to move through issues. There's going to be a lot of your own story coming to the surface and a lot of your own light capacity, your gifts, your medicine, your intuition coming online. so that you're no longer questioning intuition. You're no longer looking at it as something woo-woo, but that it's as significant and fundamental to you as your capacity to breathe and your ability to see and feel. That it is a natural sensory truth, and it will challenge your mind's or your habit mind's beliefs and patterns, but it will always lead you to that which is greater than the mind. It is always seeking to expand your energy field and to guide you into and the ability to inhabit the multisensory, multidimensional light body that is truly you. Within this transmission, my guides also want me to tell you that you're going to see tremendous waves of change around the globe. So, significant pushback against things that are representations of 3D. There's going to be reactions to 3D in the government. There's going to be reactions to 3D around environmental care and capitalism. Those three areas are going to be up over the next several months, where people are really going to be questioning whether the way we are doing things is the right way to do them. And these questions, if they are answered only from the 3D consciousness, will lead to the same kinds of experiences. But what's happening is that we are questioning the way that we have approached these challenges and opportunities, how we are willing to do things, and we still have not created new responses to these systems. We have not yet done that, but we are seeing a dismantling of trust in these systems so that we can start questioning ourselves and what does it look like to create a collaborative, cooperative, unifying government? What does it mean to create truly a holistic medical care system? What does that mean? And what does it look like for us to live in harmony with the earth when we're really awake, when we're really living from our multidimensional selves? With this being said, your guides want you to remember that you are a body of light. Each and every one of you inhabits the capacity for self-realization, for full level mastery, and for full awakening in your own light body. And what does that mean? Do not try to look to another to discover what that means. Go within yourself to say, what would it mean for me to live fully self-realized? What does that look like? What do I imagine that is? What does my soul want to teach me about that so that I can move beyond the fears that inhibit me, that contract me, and the habits that have created some measure of suffering or limitation in my life? As you are willing to open these doors to this level of consciousness and this experience and expressing of your multidimensional nature and the truth of these higher frequencies coming into you, you will notice that even as things may feel like they're unraveling, unsettled, there is an undercurrent of peace within you. There is a deeper awareness of knowing that you are really right where you are meant to be at all times, and that everything, everything in your dream, everything is happening for you. Nothing is happening to harm you. It is all happening for you to wake you up, to bring you home, and to allow you to transcend the limitations of 3D consciousness, to bridge through the fourth dimension, and to awaken to the magical, brilliant, beautiful soul that you were born here to express, to be, and to manifest through. And as you allow that to happen, as you allow that truth to settle into your bones, become part of the way you see yourself and others, you no longer will live at war with life. You will understand that this dream is your consciousness being revealed to you so that you can adapt to the higher source flow, open to it, and realize the potentials that exist within your own light body, your own being, your own mind, your own beautiful soul. So with that, I'm going to say thank you. I wish you an exquisite November. I will keep sharing channelings as they're coming through me. They've been coming through me pretty in a pronounced way these past several months. They have for years, but there's a new level of awareness. New medicine is being woken up within me. I'm still discovering it. I don't really know what it is yet, and new pathways are being shown to me. And what's interesting, and I'm just going to say this because it feels relevant. These pathways are not showing me exactly where they're leading, but they're lit and they're asking me to follow them in a depth of trust that when I do, they yield what is meant to serve my highest good. And so as I allow myself to walk that path, that way, even when I don't know exactly what I'm doing or how, I just do the next right thing each and every moment, moment to moment. What happens is more exquisiteness is revealed, and my nervous system starts to calm, and I feel a deep sense of awareness that I am held in the heart of God's love, light, and truth, because that love, light, and truth is who I am, and that is who you are, and that is what we are here to remember and express, and then share. With that, I say namaste, abundant blessings. As my guides would say, Atma Namaste, which is my higher soul self, sees, acknowledges, loves, and bows to your higher soul self. And when I am in that place and you are in that place, we are one with all that is. And with that, I'll say, see you soon.